Hi, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the LinkedIn Live show today. Today we have Thomas, Rajiv, and Sunil discussing on the topic of uh, revolutionary managers that you, as a revolutionary, can make a good organization great. Bringing them onto the dais, Rajiv, Thomas, and Sunil, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Prem.
Thank you very much indeed, Prem.
Yeah,
That's great. Hello, I'm Thomas Welsh. In this session, we're going to talk about you as potentially the revolute. In other words, the revolutionary who is able to make your already good organization, hopefully great. So that's the title of today's session. And we're going to have 3 short stories today about how individual managers, executives, and directors can use the cycle of Regenesis to create self-growth, to create organizational renewal, and to create board development. Today, we'll delve into how even an individual person can transform a situation. Each story will be read by one of the team, Sunil first, then myself, and then Rajiv. And each story will be followed by questions from you, the listeners, with responses from us, the team. We'll manage time quite tightly, so we've got time for a wider discussion and more questions at the end. You might like to imagine yourself as each person in each of the stories. So imagine yourself doing this, and perhaps that will pave the way to make that a little easier for the future. And remember, what's possible for them is also possible for you. Then right at the end, we have what we think is an outstanding offer for you right now. You definitely won't want to miss it. So hang on to the end and listen for that. But right now, let's jump right in. Sunil.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Basically, when we are talking today, this is very, very important topic, and I would like to share one story that is a story of a company, and of course, a manager. So, the manager, transformational manager, the manager who has transformed the organization. Of course, I'm talking regarding a company called Vicon Solutions, and the name of the manager is Sarah. But I will request all the audience, all the managers who is here, he can correlate or she can correlate this story with her, because that is the real transformation any manager can do if he or she is having positive thought, if she is having or he is having ability to find the ray of hope even in worst situation. So the managers, the a story of this manager Sarah, who has taken over in this organization Vicon Solution. The situation was very bad. She has inherited a team that was in doldrum condition, more unsteadily, teetering on the brink of dissolutions. The workplace was, I will say, that workplace had become a sea of monotony and disconnect. But even in that situation, Sarah had seen the ray of hope. Sarah has seen the potential in the team members. And that is where this true leader, true leader sets the example. What Sarah has done in this journey, that she has realized that each team member is having the potential. It is only required to motivate the team members and align their success with the organizational objective and organizational goal. So what she has done, she has basically talked to every individual, and in one terms I will use, that is intentionalization. So she has done that intentionalization. So she has aligned the herd of the people. She has aligned the vision of the organization with the individual goals, individual's achievement, individual success. So when a leader see in that way, so what Sarah has done, Sarah has talked to every individual, each and every employee one to one. She has understood the vision, the dreams of every employee. And then she has motivated each and every employee to take the best performance what she can deliver during that point of time. Their dreams, and those dreams, when people find that this is a leader who can transform this dream into reality, I can give my best, then everybody has aligned with that leadership, Sarah's leadership. So Sarah has demonstrated this, I will say, exceptional leadership ability and quality at that point of time. And that is what a leader has to do in the turbulent time. What leader has to do when they have to make this any organization from good to good to, I will say, excel the organization. So that is the important things to do. So what Sarah has done, Sarah has spoken to the person individual. She has understood the dream of the individual. She has tried to connect with every individuals, not only on professional level but on personal level. And that was the first step what she has done. The second step what she has done, she has made a strategy, and she has made a plan, and that strategy and plan has gone break up in down the line. So if this organizational objective is X, then she has broken that in individuals goal, individuals objective, individuals dream, individuals achievables. So that is the second strategy what she has done. And she instituted regular one-to-one meeting with all the individuals, all the team members. She has kept the door open for everybody. So she has handholded also. She has inspired the people, and that journey, that one step has given confidence to all the employee that yes, we can deliver, we can achieve whatever organization is required. And the important part here is what Sarah has done, that Sarah has demonstrated that whatever individual's achievement is, that individual achievement can, if everybody will achieve, then whatever organizational objective we have, that we can achieve. So that was the leadership demonstrated by Sarah. To be honest with you, why she has done this, we at Regenesis help the manager to achieve that particular transformational journey in his career or in her career. So we are all are here to support, to demonstrate this type of transformational journey. So this is only thing required by leader is the mentorship. What exactly you have to do, how to go in these 2 3 steps, how to mentor each and every employee, how to make a strategy and define the goal of the organization and break it at the employee level. So once the leader does that and handhold the employee, then employee gives their best. So the team which was looking that scattered, there was having no hope, demotivated, that team has become a performance oriented team, that has become a best performer. So that is the power of a true leadership, true manager who can transform the organization. So Sarah has realized that her team has become more than more than just a collection of individuals. It has become a family united, having a common purpose, driven by a shared vision, bound together by unwavering belief that together they could achieve anything. So that is the story of a weekend solution. How a weekend solution has transformed from a worst day to company who excels, who achieve the excellence. And who has done this? An individual, a leader who is having that thought process, who has transformed the organization. So the message I want to give it here, that managers who is working in any organization, he is having great power and great role to play. The only thing is they have to understand that this is a process, and for that process, we at Regenesis and hold those managers and mentor them, help them in demonstrating that particular strategy at the ground level, and make the career, make his career, make something which is very proud of, and make the organization as an excellence organization achieve whatever they want to achieve in the long run and short run. So over to you, Thomas. And if there is
Okay,
some question from the audience, I will be happy to answer that.
sure. Well, I've got one. This seems to be, from the story you've just told us, Sunil, is very much a journey of one individual deciding to develop and grow themselves. And in kind of developing themselves, changing themselves and making themselves better as a manager, they've changed the whole organization. Would you say that was the key to this story?
Yeah, basically, Thomas, whatever you have told that, whatever you have told, that is very right. That, at Regenesis, we are having the defined process. We work handhold these type of transformational leader. We help them. We understand the ground reality, whatever ground reality is in that organization, and support them to go through this process and implement those processes so that he can also become a transformational leader.
Okay, that's fine. It seems that we have a person called Anna dropping in to ask some questions. So that'd be great. The floor is yours, Anna.
Anna, you can ask question.
Thomas, Anna has put some question on the chat or somewhere, Thomas.
The question is not visible, Prem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not able to see the question, Thomas. Thomas? Thomas, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I was going to say to Anna, we'll continue with the next story, but if you would like to pose your question as we go, we'll loop back and answer it between us as a team.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. I'll push on to the next part of the stories here, and this is story 2, whereas story 1 was very much about how an individual developed themselves and changed the world around them. This is very much about story 2, which is a CEO setting out not to develop themselves, but to renew their organization. So this is how the story starts. High atop the city skyline, overlooking the bustling streets below, stood a company known as Horizon Enterprises. It was a company that had seen its fair share of ups and downs, a company that had weathered storms and navigated rough seas. But through it all, one man stood at the helm, a man named Mark. Mark wasn't just a CEO, he was a visionary, a captain of industry, with a keen eye for opportunity and a relentless drive for success. When he took the reins of Horizon Enterprises, he knew that change was inevitable. The company was stagnant, mired in mediocrity. You know what happens? Sometimes a company gets stuck in medium performance, medium quality. It's okay, it continues to trade, but actually it's not a very thrilling place to be, nor perhaps to receive goods and services from. But Mark's journey began with a single question: what did it mean to be great? So when he joined the company, for Mark, greatness wasn't just about profits and margins, it was also about impact, about leaving a legacy that would endure long after he was gone. And so he set out on a quest to transform Horizon Enterprises from a mere business, just one that was getting by, into a force for good, a beacon of excellence in a sea of mediocrity. Become a great company, profits are sure to follow. That's the lesson of us all, and that's the lesson for all companies. But Mark knew that greatness couldn't be achieved overnight. It required patience, perseverance, and steadfast commitment to excellence, and so he began his journey with a simple yet audacious goal to elevate Horizon Enterprises from a lower quartile to an upper quartile performer within 12 to 18 months. Now that's quite a journey for most companies, but the whole point of using Regenesis is to undertake that kind of change. Mark's first order of business was to gain clarity on the organization's purpose and direction. He called it inceptionalizing, and that is in fact what we call it in Regenesis, a process of defining the company's mission, vision, values, and vital few, and aligning them with its long-term goals. It was a process that required deep introspection and unwavering resolve from all the managers, actually, but led by Mark, who knew that it was the foundation upon which greatness will be built. If you have a great mission and you follow it up with great action, then you can't go anywhere but become a great company. With a clear vision in mind, Mark turned his attention to strategy, charting a course for success that would propel Horizon Enterprises to new heights of achievement. He developed a comprehensive plan outlining the steps needed to achieve the organization's objectives and aligning them with the aspirations of stakeholders. It was a plan that demanded discipline and focus from everybody in the entire team, but led by Mark. Mark himself had to role model being the same person as he wanted everybody else to be. And Mark knew that it was the key to unlocking the company's full potential. But strategy alone wasn't enough. Mark knew that to truly transform Horizon Enterprises, he needed to foster a culture of collaboration and innovation, a culture where every voice was heard and every idea was valued. And so he embarked on a journey of mutualization and synchronization. He brought together the brightest minds within the company, encouraging them to think outside the box and challenge the status quo. And in reality, the brightest minds in the company were all the minds of the company. It was a real journey of innovation, a journey that would lead Horizon Enterprises to the forefront of its industry. As the months passed, Mark's vision began to take shape. Processes were streamlined, workflows were optimized, and inefficiencies were gradually eliminated, and opportunities were gradually grasped, all under Mark's watchful eye and saying yes to every opportunity there was to make things better. Employees were empowered to take ownership of their work, fostering their sense of pride and accountability, and that permeated every corner of the organization. And then one day, as Mark stood atop the towering skyscraper that housed Horizon Enterprises, he looked out over the bustling city below, and he knew that his journey was far from over. The road to greatness was long and arduous, and it didn't just happen in one go. It would take a number of iterations, and Mark was determined to see it through. And he knew that the only way was to pave a path to continuous improvement where everybody was engaged to lead Horizon Enterprises to new heights and success and prosperity. In the end, Horizon wasn't just a company. It became actually a beacon of hope, a shining example of what could be achieved with the cycle of Regenesis, when a visionary manager dared to dream and a team dared to believe. And that's the story. And what I would encourage you to do is think about that. If you were that chief executive and if you were in that organization, what would be your questions right now? Okay, we don't appear to be hearing from Anna as yet. So what I suggest we do is we move on to the next story. Any comments from either Sunil or Rajiv about that particular story that you want to raise?
Yeah, I think Thomas, a very interesting one, and I would like to understand from you, out of your experience, what is the most important aspect a CEO should focus on? Because in CEO's journey, there are many roles he has to play. So, what do you think is the most important focus area where CEO should focus on? Yeah.
Undoubtedly, it is making sure the mission, that's the fundamental purpose of the company, is properly and clearly articulated in a language that everybody, even members of the public, can understand. So we all know why the company exists. And then behind that is having clarity about the vision for the organization and to make sure it's communicated to every corner of the organization and every part of the customer base. So everybody sees how the vision of the organization will serve them as employees, will serve them as customers, and in fact, how it will serve the world. But more importantly, it shows a picture of the destination and the conditions that need to exist in the destination when the company arrives there in 5 years or 10 years' time. So that everybody has a clear view of where they're going. There's nothing worse than setting out on a journey and not knowing where you're going. Imagine leaving a port in a large ship and actually not setting the rudder to any particular direction and hoping you will arrive somewhere that's good. Probably you won't. You'll probably bump into something large and hard. Um, but that's not the ideal journey. What you want is a clear destination. So if you're going to a foreign harbour in a different place, you know how long it'll take you, you know when you're going to get there, you know the key parts of the journey to go, you know what needs to be done on the ship along the way in order for the journey to be successful. And in fact, what needs to be done before you set sail. And it's the same is true in a company. The vision and the mission inform all the plans need to follow that. Does that answer your
Very
question,
well.
Rajiv?
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. Yes.
Okay, I think it's over to you now, isn't it? Or story number three.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Thomas. The story number three is about a director's journey to take the board from good to great. And as you know, that directors play a very important role in the overall finalizing the destiny of the company. And so the story goes like this: in a quaint boardroom tucked away in the heart of city, a group of individuals gathered around a polished mahogany table. They were the board of directors of the company called Unity Corp, a company that had long been admired for unwavering commitment to excellence and integrity. And at the helm of this esteemed group was a woman named Emily. So it'll be interesting to see how Emily performs. And here goes the story. Emily wasn't just a director; she was a guardian of governance. So as a director and also as a steward to the company's values and principles. So directors have, we all know, a lot of responsibility of governance and making sure that the company goes in the right direction. So when she took the role of a chairperson, she knew that she had a big shoes to fill. The previous chair had been a titan of industry, a visionary manager who had steered Unity Corporation through some of the most challenging times. So that makes the role of Emily much more harder and much more tougher, because she has a very renowned predecessor who has been a very great performer. So she was not daunted by this. She was undaunted. She was determined to carry on his legacy and lead Unity Corporation to even greater heights and success. So that's what she set her course for. And Emily's journey began with a simple yet profound realization: for the board to fulfill the duties effectively, uh, even members needed to understand their roles and responsibility clearly. And so she instituted a series of comprehensive induction programs and training sessions. Normally, I have seen board members, they feel and they think that they know it all. So they hardly are open to the idea of trainings and, having induction programs. But Emily realized that this has to be done. So she designed sessions to equip board members with knowledge and skills they needed to excel in their roles. So I think that was a very, very tough decision and a very important one. And she knew that being a director wasn't just about attending meetings and casting votes. It was about actively engaging the company and its stakeholders. So you have to actually engage when you are a director on the board. You have to actively engage not only with the employees of the company and other stakeholders also. So she kind of trained the board members in their role so that they can all excel and become much more effective. And so she encouraged her fellow board members to immerse themselves in the company's operations, to visit its facilities, meet its employees, and understand its challenges and opportunities. So sometimes the board members feel that their job is only to attend the board meetings. No, I think it is much beyond that. Board meetings is just a place where they just gather and finalize and discuss and take some decisions. But they have to maintain the connect in order to be very good operational board of directors. They have to actually be having their ears to the ground. So, as the months passed, Emily managership began to bear fruit. The board became more than just a collection of individuals, and it became a cohesive team, a team united by a common purpose and driven by a shared commitment to excellence. So, I think that was the most important turning point for Emily, and she was able to achieve that. And then one day, Emily looked around the boardroom at the faces of her colleagues. She knew her journey was not far from over. The road to greatness was long and winding, but Emily was determined to see it through and to lead Unity Corporation into a new heights of success and prosperity. So she kind of designed the progress of the company by bringing all the resources she had in the board together, and also bringing that cohesiveness, bringing that sense of unity, sense of purpose in them, and training them to be excellent operational directors rather than just board of directors who are attending the board meetings and going away and then again meeting after 3 months. So that's not the purpose of a board. So I have been associated with the board members for a long, long time, and I've seen many boards meeting very often. But the sense of purpose which Emily created and following the Regenesis principles was excellent, and I think that gave her excellent results as well. So in the end, the story is very interesting. Unity Corp wasn't just a company, it was a shining example of what could be achieved using the cycle of Regenesis for boards when a dedicated board of directors dared to dream and work together towards a common goal. So she was the one who had a dream and very clear vision that where she has to take the company, and using the cycle of Regenesis, I think she utilized all that power she had as a director to implement her thoughts in improving the overall board presence. Thomas.
Well, thank you. That was good. And it's been really great to have three such different stories. But I particularly like this one, mainly because I could see that Emily may have held one of two roles for me. I don't know. And I guess I'm asking which you think is more likely. In the one scenario, I could see that Emily might have been the board chairman and so had access to the levers, had enough influence and sway over the board members to uh, get them to go along with their development and the growth and change of behavior of the board and all the things that you just walked us through. In the other scenario, for me, Emily could have been also the company secretary, because that's the other person responsible for board governance at a kind of super level. Uh, and maybe through the governance lens, was able to encourage the board members to look at how effective they were being, how well they were leading the company, because all of those are parts of governance too. Which do you think is the more likely, Rajiv, and why?
Yeah, so very interesting question you asked a company secretary on this. Being a company secretary myself, I would say that company secretary is, if you look at the definition of company secretary, also it is very clearly said that it is a company secretary is an advisor to the board. So, being an advisor to the board, the Emily would have navigated the board in a direction which is aligning with the vision and mission of the company, and she would have carried the whole process of board meetings in a very methodical way, and made sure that all the corporate governance principles are taken care. And uh, these days, uh, in India, 360-degree evaluation of all the board members are also done. And of course, board members are kind of trained to deliver their best. And that's what as a company secretary also she would have contributed. But her role was here was as a chairperson. So she, as a chairperson, she was more into driving seat, where she could have actually brought her thought processes and implemented them to make sure that the board of directors are trained in a way that their best comes out. And using the cycle of Regenesis, I think she, as a chairperson, has delivered what she was set out to. So I think both the roles are important. So if you ask me personally, chairperson's role is the most important one, because you are steering the board in a direction, and you are actually bringing consensus in the board. And as a company secretary, you are making sure that the processes are set, and the board meetings are done in a particular manner. They are recorded properly, minutized, and everything. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thomas.
I found that most interesting to hear you walk that through. But yes, I think perhaps you're right. I think perhaps if Emily wasn't the chair, then maybe she was the company secretary advising the chair. So this, what you just, the story you just told actually probably was chair action, because it would need that to kind of get the board to walk along the path to more greatness, really. So thank you for the story. Um, are there any questions from our audiences yet, Prem? Okay, perhaps not at the moment. Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is that we have a little chat about our conclusion ourselves, and maybe just share thoughts amongst the three stories before we close. So, Sunil, what did you take as the really key elements of the story that you told?
Uh, Thomas, basically, the story of Sarah, whatever I was explaining here, that is the real story that when you are at manager level, how you can add value to the organization and transform the organization from good to great. So the positive side of this story is that every leader has to think positive side of the situation will be good or bad. That is basically nature. That will definitely happen. But every manager, every leader has to see the positive side of that. Here in the story, Sarah has seen, even in turbulence time when the morale of the employee was down, she has focused on the individual's strength. She has not seen the circumstances where something is going down or it can't be changed. So she has seen that. And second important aspect I will say here, that is the human touch. I always say in my uh, consulting process that human touch is something which can't be replaced. We are talking regarding IoT, we are talking regarding AI, but human touch is something which can't be replaced by any methodology, by any technology. So she has seen the human touch, she has given that human touch, she has met each and every employee, she has understood their stories, their dreams, and she has developed a bond between those employees, and that has resulted in a great performance. Because if you are a transformational leader, it is important that everybody has to believe on you. You have to become an influencer. So if a leader becomes influencer, half of the job is done. So everybody has believed on their leadership, their strategy. Then the third important aspect there was that she has broken this objective of the organization in a smaller part, and which has which has been assigned to the manager. So manager is knowing that to achieve this bigger goal, what are the role he has to play, and that role is quite measurable, visible, transparent. So see, he or she should be happy once he achieved that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. That's a really helpful kind of summation. So really, it's all about one person making the decision to grow and develop themselves and their role, and they can have an impact on the entire organization with some of the qualities you've mentioned there about determination and keeping going. So these are really important qualities. And in fact, in the story that I told, number two, which was about Mark's journey, was about his personal decision as the incoming chief exec to say, no, I don't think I'm just going to take on the company and keep turning the handle. I'm actually going to stop and think and say, no, I want this company to be great. And I believe we can involve all our people, and I'm going to do that as the individual. So here's another individual that happens to be the chief exec. But is there any real difference between a manager in the body of the organization with determination and a chief executive at the top of the organization with determination? So again, we've got this kind of this impact, this influence, this flow of positive actions that flowed from Mark into the company, into all the other people, and they gradually, their enthusiasm was built, their understanding of the situation and the mission and the vision was built, and off they went. They took action, and they were much, much more successful. And the number of times the three of us see that happen is amazing, I think. And Rajiv, do you want to summarize the last story too? Story three, what do you see as the meta lessons there for us?
Yeah, yeah. So, the last story is the most interesting one. The Emily, who's the chairperson of the board, she had a very big legacy to follow. So one way could have been that she just follow what the predecessor has done, and that guy was a very successful person. As a he was a titan of the industry, but she actually chose her own path, and she innovated. She actually not only carried the legacy forward, she uh, visualize that okay, the board members who are there have to be trained, and she made them operational managers. So I think that thought process itself is very powerful, because normally I have seen the board members, they are thinking that, oh, they are just there to oversee the activity. They normally don't get too much involved in the operational activities. But here was Emily. She was actually encouraging them to be in touch with the staff, to be in touch with the factory, to be in touch with the people down the line, and also the stakeholders. So she actually showed them the way that they should move forward, and not meet just in once a 3 months or something, just to discuss, oh, what's happening and how's the result and things like that. But she was actually making sure that using, of course, the cycle of Regenesis, that they become part and parcel of the entire organization, and they actually drive it. So the board actually drives the organization, of course supported by the CEOs. So she truly was, I should say, commendable chairperson for the company.
Yes, and I like to think sometimes of board members as custodians and guardians of the strategy. So it doesn't really matter whether the board evolves the strategy or whether the CEO evolves the strategy and it's cleared by the board. Whoever is most able to provide the best strategy is obviously the right place. So,
Yeah.
yes, again, here we have an individual who has changed the entire course of events in a whole organization. So we wanted those.
Thomas,
Sorry.
I'm having one question from Rajiv.
Yeah.
Rajiv, in India, the board member are basically become accountable. So there are three things: ethics, values, and compliances. So
Yeah.
Yes.
how Regenesis helps the board members to develop the some sort of dashboard where they should, because they are not involved in day-to-day activity, but how to ensure that these compliances, ethics, and values are basically getting met in the within the organization.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
S- So that's the purpose of the board, actually. As Thomas said, that the board is there to give strategic direction to the company, and the corporate governance part of it, which is the most important aspect for the companies these days. We have seen WorldComs, we have seen Arthur Anderson, we have seen
Yeah.
Satyam, also our Indian example, where just because the governance was compromised or ethics were compromised, or the company was not so perfect on compliance, the whole company came down like pack of cards. So that is the most important area. And for this, I because I have been involved with the boards very closely, the board members, they make sure that they rely on the various certifications which they get from, for example, company secretary or a legal head or a CFO, and operational managers. So board is also these days becoming more and more cautious, because the as you said, liability of the board is too much. So much so that in India, people are selling insurance policies for the board members, so that if they are caught on the wrong side of the law, they are supported. So board becoming a board member is not that simple and not that easy. It's a lot of responsibility. But yes, Regenesis actually teaches all of us how to move ethically, how to make sure that the compliance is ensured, how to strategically make sure that the operations are run in a manner that you are able to monitor them regularly. So I think there's a lot more to talk about. I cannot,
Yes.
if I go on, I may not be finishing within the next 1 hour. But the ethics and governance are the most important aspect for the compliance management. Yes.
Why I'm asking
Absolutely.
this question, Rajiv, because we have seen that previously people after retirement and after long experience, they happily join the boards, but now people are little hesitant. So,
Yeah.
but if people are hesitant, this means as in broader picture, we are losing those experiences. So, at Regenesis, we can help those people also who want to join the board, that how to make sure that these compliances, these there should be some checklist. So we can help
Yeah.
with that checklist. That these are the
Sure.
checklists which you can always use to cross check that yes, on the parameters of ethics, compliances, and values, companies are doing well. So we can help those people who are basically willing to come to the board but they are hesitant. So we can develop those checklists. We can help them to ensure that they are meeting all the parameters, and they are at safer position.
One of the
Yeah, you are
things I
right.
think is a really good juxtaposition, actually, is the word governance for health. And I think good governance of an organization also means good health of the organizations. And if an organization is sick in any way, whether it's out of compliance or whether it is not very effective, uh, any of these things can start to bring it down. Or if it starts making mistakes or making emissions, all of these areas are signs of ill health. And like any animal that's in bad health, eventually it will get so sick it will fall down dead. And I think, as a metaphor, that's quite a good description of what can happen to a board. And I don't think directors and board members have to be perfect. I don't think they have to do everything exactly right, but they have to do the right things at the right times as far as is possible. And what we see in these scandals is sometimes they didn't do what they could have done to actually, and they were obviously things they could have done to make things in better health. And I think that's the lesson, isn't it, of corporate governance? In fact, that's the lesson of organisations. What we're saying to managers, what we're saying to chief executives, and we're saying to directors is there's a job of work to be done here, and there's a fullness of it. and in Regenesis we try and represent that. And I guess in conclusion, in each of these stories, we hear how the cycle of Regenesis, the journey from good to great, both personally, whichever of those roles you're in, and organizationally, is paved with innovation and correct action. But ultimately, there's nothing particularly difficult. There's some fairly simple steps that need to be taken to create a healthy organization. And as you reflect on these stories, let us remember that greatness is not achieved overnight also, but through guided perseverance, dedication, and a fairly relentless pursuit of something better and something more. And in the end, it is those who dare to dream and work together towards a common goal and a better future who truly leave a lasting legacy of success and inspiration. And it's that we're asking of people. Let's wake up again and let's aspire to a better future for the world, in fact. So also, now today, I did say at the end of this session, we would make you an offer, and it's now today only. You can sign up for briefings on the cycle of Regenesis in a monthly group briefing. And we know that if you just take this inspiration, this will transform your own role as a manager or an executive or a director. And ultimately, because you will create more value and more growth in your organization, your salary is bound to follow. It'll also help your organization, and it's as well as your fortunes and your board of directors, and how it provides strategy, development, and growth to guide the organization forward in a really good way. There's 4 levels of group briefing that we'd like to offer you, and 1 special category. And I'd just like to describe those for you. The first of all is a monthly briefing for junior and middle managers wishing to take their career and their income upward. Many junior managers who start who don't necessarily get access to a really good mentor or somebody that can show them the ropes of how to be a great manager. So for just $35 a month, you can sign up for that. And it's month by month, so you can cancel whenever you like. But that gets you started as a junior manager and will set you on a completely different path. So group briefing number 2 is for middle to senior managers. So these are people who have got along their journey. They may be mid-career, but wishing to build on what you've achieved to increase your reputation and ultimately your salary, because you're ready for the next step. You've got a lot of experience, and again, tapping into the Regenesis framework and the briefing it provides will certainly help you do that to a much higher level. And it's a much more reliable level. So you get kind of more of a monthly recurring revenue feel to the way you're operating. So you're building your career and your salary around that. Then group briefing 3, the price of that's just $60 a month. Sorry, that's my phone ringing there on the background. I'll just try and shut that off. Okay. So, sorry about that. So that's $60 a month. And the last group is for CEOs, MDs, and founders. And that's ready to lift the wealth and well-being of yourself and your organization. If you wish us to work with you one-to-one because your needs are more complex, we can agree a bespoke arrangement that fits your situation. Similarly, if you wish us to work with a group of managers in your organization, we can agree an enterprise briefing and coaching project with you and obviously reduce the investment per person. So that's not a problem. So that the group briefing at that level for CEOs and more senior people is $120 a month. Now, one of the things we've noticed in working with hundreds of people over the last couple of months is that a lot of people are now moving jobs. Many managers across India, in fact, many managers wanting to see themselves in new job roles and often approach us for help to do this. So there is also a specialist, what we call a pivot group. Whereas in there, you'll find specialists in helping you move roles to make your transfer to another job or to get promoted much more easily. So those are the four different groups: the junior managers, middle managers, CEOs and founders, and then people on the move between jobs. So what we're offering here is within that, you get a monthly briefing with us, and that will guide you as to what's in your 30-day sprint for the month ahead that you can take action on. So, but at the start, every member is onboarded with number one, a free gift of the cycle of Regenesis. Number two, a personal one-to-one, regardless of where you join, you get a one-to-one initial strategy session. That's to help you plan your life and work plan. And number three, as soon as you're onboarded, you are set up with permission to be one of the Regenesis affiliates. So once you've done that, what that means, it makes it a lot easier to cope with the monthly subscriptions, because you can then actually forward Regenesis to others and get recognized for that. And I'll come to that in just a moment. Number four, you also get access to our managers community and can access colleagues in there who are also on the Regenesis path. Number five is twice every week, you can get access to a Q&A group. So you can just join us at a regular time, twice a week, and we'll be there to answer any questions that you have. And number six, if you want more detailed support, you can drop us an email or a message and access answers to your questions through our communications channel, because we also have a community that you can go on to. So that's the basic layout. I would encourage you to follow the link at the end of this video and just go and have a look and see what all of that looks like. So do you have to worry about money? Well, no, not really. And here's why. Right from the beginning, you are able to, once you've signed up on your onboarding session, you can get an affiliate fee of 35%. And so invite 3 colleagues who join the group briefings, and whatever you invest in your subscription, you will more than get that back. It'll be more than repaid, because the affiliate fee is 35% of the fee. And why we do this is we want this to spread to managers throughout the world. We can see that the Regenesis process now needs to go as widely as possible. And that's why we've done this. So, some people even call this the 9th wonder of the world, because the excess revenue from the affiliate fees is actually a monthly recurring revenue, because it continues for as long as they stay subscribed. So at the end of the video, you find a link. So don't wait, as be my advice, is get in first. And the earlier you are in, the more people you can invite with your special link, which you'll get when you become when you get on board. So that's it. And our goal, I don't know whether Rajiv and Sunil would like to say anything more, but our goal is to build a Regenesis network in India of higher functioning managers and executives and organizations, and specific to India, because we think there's a huge amount of potential there. And those people will subsequently be able to help each other and a lot of other managers throughout India raise their game. And that's our whole purpose here. We are here to help, and we've set this up to help. That's why we're on this podcast. Sunil and Rajiv, do you want to say anything more about that?
I think, Thomas, you said it all very elaborately, and I would encourage everyone to join in. And based on your position and what you are looking at, you should be open to join the groups. And let me tell you, the value you are going to get is much more than what is being offered here. Yeah.
Yeah, really, Thomas. Thanks for bringing your expertise to the Indian audience, and here with our experience and Rajiv's experience, we can add lot of value. So I will also request all the managers as well as business owners, board members who who wants to transform and make the organization good to great. We are here to support them. Regenesis is having a defined process, so that process will help you to achieve that success. And we 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 all three uh, basically encourage you to join, so that we can share the knowledge. This is not only uh, you know learning something. We also learn from our team members. We also learn from every individuals. So this is a very good learning experience. So we would like to encourage them to just
Yeah, to add to Sunil, we've posted the link on the chat window of this event. You can go through that, sign up for the monthly briefing with Thomas. And that form has all the details what Thomas has explained. With you can book an appointment there. With this, I think we are good to conclude on the session. Thomas, you have any last words that you want to convey?
No, just to thank everybody for listening, and to thank all of you as my colleagues, Prem and Sunil and Rajiv. Thank you as always for sharing this platform with me and trying to tell the story of what actually is now possible. And we look forward to working with more and more of you. It grows all the time. Every week we're starting to work with more people, and it's a delight, I have to say, from my point of view. And it feels like an honor to work with people in India. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for all of this. Prem, I think you've got an outro for us to listen to. A few final words. Would I be right?
Yeah, thank you for joining, and we'll have another session continuing on tomorrow. We have the details in the chat. Looking forward to see you tomorrow in another session with another leader explaining on leadership tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a great evening and good night.
Okay, thank you, Prem. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for joining
Thank
us
you.
today
Yeah.
and building
Thank
yourself
you.
as a manager and your revenues as a person and your organizations as a leader. See you next time.